holding very steady, so we're up around 0.7% currently for the Nifty. The Bank Nifty also holding steady with a gain of around 1.2% at this point in time. Interesting stocks on our radar should be something like an Adani Transmission, because that stock post its numbers, and even before its numbers was quite active and has in fact given returns of 33% on a week-to-date basis already. So that stock is holding up with another gain of around 5.5%. KPIT Technologies has come off the day's high, so that stock still holding with a gain of around 10%, but at one point in time it was up around 15%. But let's get talking about those NBFC earnings. We have Nischint, Chawathe, Senior Analyst at Kotak Institutional Equities, joining in to talk about that. Nischint, first on M&M Financial Services, how did you read the gross NPLs, and do you think the worst is already factored into the stock?
See, if I optically look at the movement in gross NPL ratios, obviously the movement was much higher. But the company also made a migration in their NPL recognition norm. So that was one of the reasons. If I look at it on a like-to-like basis, possibly the movement was around 60 basis points. Now, if I try to look at what happened during the quarter and the fears that we had in terms of acute monsoon shortfall that will have an impact on M&M Finance, I think it has been better than what we thought it would be for this quarter. So that was a little better, and possibly that's what gave conviction to the management that they should take this plunge and move ahead to a more stringent NPL recognition norm, although they don't need to do anything this year. So I would say that it was better than our expectations. Having said that, that things are weak. The outlook also for next 1 or 2 quarters is not going to be strong. So I would not be kind of saying that look, near-term numbers are going to be strong. But yes, as compared to what we were thinking about at the beginning of the quarter, it was a little better.
Okay, Nischint, morning. So what's your call on the stock and what's your price target?
Yeah, so we have a buy rating on the stock and we have a price target of 300. The broad thought process on this stock is that don't look at it on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Look at it from a more slightly medium to long-term basis. This company has a very strong rural auto franchise. Possibly it is a default option for anybody who is any OEM who is trying to distribute its products in rural India. And more importantly, if you look at the swing in numbers is quite a lot. So between a good year and a bad year, there is somewhere close to around 600 to 700 basis points movement in ROE, which obviously gets very difficult for an analyst to model. So we know that when things turn around, things will bounce back very massively, and that's why we are taking a more through the cycle call on this.
Okay, what are you expecting from HDFC on Monday?
So I just want to compare this with LIC's results.
Okay,
if you look at LIC's results, they did report a margin expansion. That the borrowing cost is coming down massively, and which is exactly the reason why the entire housing finance sector will have very strong tailwinds. HDFC did drop rates for their borrowers somewhere during the quarter, so that it won't be as much. You won't see as much margin expansion in the retail book for HDFC as compared to LIC. But yes, generally you have tailwinds for the sector, so that would be quite good for HDFC.
The profit figure that you are working with?
I don't have it offhand over here.
Okay, fair enough. That's on HDFC. But do you look at SKS Micro?
That's right, we do.
Okay, even though they had that FY16 profit guidance upped up and good numbers with 50% NII growth, we didn't see it reflect in the stock performance, at least for the past 2 days, before and after numbers. What do you think impacted it?
I guess everybody is still assimilating the numbers, still trying to understand what the strategy is all about. Because they have increased their profit guidance quite massively, so people are really trying to understand what's happening over there. Maybe that is the reason why the stock has not fully reflected on the numbers. And obviously there is a little bit of overhang also that all your competitors have a bank license. So how are things going to play out over the next 2 to 3 years? I think that is, if investors get answers to those questions, possibly the stock will go up.
Okay, fair enough, Nischint. We leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and talking to us about the NBFC space. Steel strips reacting to, I think, the profit figure rather than the total income. That stock up around 3% We'll do one thing. We'll wrap it up on trading hour. But stay tuned. Halftime report is up next and we'll take all the action forward. Stay tuned.